We are on Sports Overload right now. We're going to talk all about it on episode 97 of Gimme the Hot Sauce. Major League Baseball heading into the stretch run. The NFL season kicks off tonight with the defending Super Bowl champion, Los Angeles Rams, hosting the Buffalo Bills. And NBA training camps will open in just a couple of weeks. So Stacey's getting ready to get back to work. Stacey's alongside. Timmy Whispers has made it on time. You finished your meetings on time today?
Somehow, some way.
High-level stuff? Anything you can share with the audience?
We were talking about crayons for most of the afternoon, but beyond that, it was all good.
Did you just say crayons?
Yeah, or crayons.
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 I thought it was crayons.
Crayons.
That's a Barrington thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Crayons.
How long you been in Chicago?
I didn't know what who says crayons?
I don't know.
Well, because we take two-syllable words and make it one. Like garage in Chicago is just the garage.
Oh, my.
Okay, yeah, exactly. What?
Hey, this is episode 97. We're nearing the magic century mark. Stacey, remember we were in Aldo's basement trying to figure things out, and now we've got a taut production crew. We're tripping over people trying to get to our microphones.
Listen, we've come a long way, America.
Yeah.
We've come a long way. We were in somebody's basement.
Yeah.
I didn't really like being in the basement. But
Spiders.
I saw a lot of.
Yeah, who's that black guy at the door, right?
Exactly. It was like 50 shades of gray down there. I saw some apparatuses down there, the red room. I was like, oh, no. So, you know what? We've come a long way, America.
Yeah.
We've outlasted so many podcasts that were right along with us. It was a horse race. We were Seabiscuit. Yeah. We were at the back.
Yeah, if you get a chance, go back and listen to like episode 6 or 7 and try to hear us. But now you can.
Hey, for any of you people that are out there trying to start your podcast, do not get frustrated,
right?
Because it happens to everybody. We went at the first few episodes. It sounded like we were in the broom closet. I mean, the sound was terrible, but the content was great. Yes. We had some really good content.
Those gold microphones look good, though.
Yeah, we had like the little pimp gold microphone.
We're buying equipment out of somebody's trunk, I think.
We over there buy one, get 6 free. We didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know what we were doing in America. But, look at us now. We're almost at 100 episodes.
There you go.
And we are rolling.
Yeah, we got big things on the horizon. We'll tell you about that in the coming weeks.
That's my macho man.
I thought he was going to blow a gasket. Did you see that, Mark?
Mean Gene. It's Randy.
Stacey's in a good mood. We're breaking out impersonations in the first 5 minutes of the show, so that's always good. Christopher Walken, is he going to make an appearance tonight?
Yeah, he's in the back waiting.
Christopher Walken. He's going to be walking out of here when I get my pythons on him. Mean Gene.
Oh, boy.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. You never know who's going to show up on Give Me the Hot Sauce.
Just hemorrhaging highball on that?
I'm like Mark Silverman. Silver's got the scanner neck.
Right.
He's talking when he says hello. Hey, Mark Silverman, you're my boy. But when Mark Silverman starts talking, boy, them veins start popping up in that neck, boy, it's like his head's going to explode.
Our guys Waddle and Sylvie over at ESPN 1000. Hey, let's talk a little basketball. The Bulls are getting closer to training camp. As Stacey knows, September, guys start to filter in. You play some pickups against your teammates, and that's when you really start to build that chemistry, getting ready for the season, isn't it?
Yeah. I saw Alex Caruso now is in Paris. I just saw him. I saw Patrick Williams the other day. Dalen Terry's been in and out of there all summer long. Io's been living in the gym. Playing pickup games, just watching them. They're getting ready. They're all starting to filter in now. So looking forward to what training camp's going to be. It's going to be a very competitive training camp. So I'm really looking forward to that.
And Dalen Terry, you see the video where he's blocking all the kids' shots? They had a kids' camp, and nobody was scoring on him.
You know what? Way to be a bully, Dalen. Way to be. He just scarred those kids for the rest of their life. They might not even play basketball anymore. They might just play soccer or they might even just go into boxing. Who knows?
Well, last week we had Javonte Green on the show, and he had some nice things to say about Dalen Terry. Now, here's a guy that looks like he's going to need some time in an NBA weight room, but with his length, and he can play multiple positions, he's a great defender. This is a guy that maybe not in his rookie year, but he's going to be a guy that really contributes to this thing down the road.
Well, I mean, you got to remember the kid's 18, 19 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still got a young man's body, and he's going to grow into his body. But the things that he does well, Mark, he's got size, he's got length, he's athletic. He can play 1 through 4 positions for him. His versatility, I feel, is going to be an asset for the Bulls this year. I think he's going to find his way in the lineup at some point, not so much as a starter, but coming off that bench and giving him some minutes at a lot of different positions. So I'm looking forward to seeing him grow. I mean, I saw Patrick Williams, and I'm telling you right now, America, if you're listening to me, he's going to have a breakout season. Yeah. You can just tell, like, I've been around Patrick since he's been here, and Patrick has always been kind of reserved, introverted, kind of like, but the confidence that he's showing right now, and you see him, it's oozing. Like, he's oozing with confidence. Like, you can just tell. I talked to him. He's like, he can't wait to get out on the court. He can't wait to. He's so athletic. Just a marvel to watch him play.
We're going to be talking to a former NBA All-Star forward, and Antoine Walker. He's our special guest in episode 97. That's coming up in a few minutes. We'll ask Antoine about Patrick Williams and what he thinks his ceiling might be in the NBA. At the other end of the age spectrum, Goran Dragic is 36, but he's been playing like a young man over at Eurobasket, Stacey. He's had a couple of high-scoring games, doing a good job. What are you guys doing?
It's so immature.
If you know, for people on the podcast, you're missing all these visual tricks. But what'd you find?
Sorry. I feel like I'm a senior in high school right now. I'm passing notes to my best friend.
Yeah, I know.
More like 8th grade.
Yeah, middle school, I would say.
I'm sorry, America. I was just showing Tim something. It was just a little inside joke. But anyway.
Dragic's topic.
What are you doing, Joe? Okay, I'm sorry. I guess.
Flashbacks.
No, it's flashback.
Yeah.
PTSD, man. I'm sorry, okay. I tell you what. Not knowing what Lonzo Ball's status is going to be, you hear so many different conflicting stories. Like, he's going to be ready for camp. He's not going to be ready for camp. Having this guy as an insurance policy, a starter in this league, a guy that's come off the bench and been very productive for Brooklyn last year, given the minutes. It's a good insurance policy. I mean, of course, you don't want to go the whole season, 82 games, having him have to extend himself and play a lot of minutes. At some point, you want Zoe back to be healthy, because I'm going to be honest with you, we're not going anywhere without Zoe. I'm being honest. I mean, we're not going to be the team that we can be without Lonzo Ball. He's the key to this team going deep into the playoffs. He's his team having a great record. He just means so much to this team because he does so many things well, and you just don't replace that.
And we're hearing some conflicting reports regarding Lonzo Ball. Casey Johnson, our good friend over at NBC Sports Chicago, has been more of the optimistic vein, saying you hear he's coming along. It's going slower than the Bulls had wanted, but there's optimism that he's going to be able to be ready for the season. And then there was a kind of a bombshell report late last week, and it wasn't just one of these guys with 5 followers. It was an ESPN report from Jamal Collier and Ramona Shelburne saying that Lonzo Ball may miss training camp and the start of the regular season. Now, it's been a puzzling injury all along. They said it was the bone bruise that's bothered him more than the meniscus injury that he had. But when you consider players whose careers have ended because of lingering injuries, it does make you a little bit concerned about this kid's long-term future, because he's missed games almost every season.
I know, looking at this and hearing so many different reports, it's alarming. It has to be if you're a fan, because, again, how much this guy means to this team. It was evident last year when he missed games. They were not the same team. They definitely need him to make a deep run into the playoffs. He's part of their future. I mean, the Bulls invested a lot of money in him. He's right now, it's a question mark. No one really knows, when he's going to be back, and, is he going to come back full street? We don't know, until he gets here. So hopefully it's not as bad as it was last year. Last year was one of those situations where, it was bothering him all season long. And you don't want something to be, if you're the Bulls and Billy Donovan, you don't want this to be something that lingers all year long, where he's in and out of the lineup due to that injury. So hopefully they get it taken care of, and he passes all the physical tests and he's ready to go.
And they do have depth at that position, obviously. You got Ayo Dosunmu, you got Kobe White, you got Alex Caruso. They're guys that can play that position, but nobody can bring the combination of skills, the three-point shooting. I mean, he shot 42% on high-volume threes last year. That's something that the Bulls desperately need in their lineup, which means we may see more of Kobe White than maybe we had envisioned going into this season.
Well, I tell you what, I'm a big Kobe White fan. You know, I know a lot of people, and I say this every week, we talk about this when we talk about the Bulls. You know, a lot of people, you know, are down on Kobe, you know, and they're basing it off how he played last year when he came back from that shoulder injury. But Kobe White is a big part of this team. This kid can shoot over 40% from the three-point line. He's one of the few Bulls that can have big quarters in games. That can take over a quarter and get you 12, 14, 16 points in a quarter. He has that type of ability. So I think people need to temper their frustration with him and let him cook. Because I think this year, along with Patrick, Williams, I think these two guys are going to make the biggest jump as far as their production for the team.
I know one guy who's excited about the start of NBA season. That's our good friend Jeff Vukovic at Nationwide Insurance. When it comes to insurance for your auto, home, and business, make sure you contact the king of insurance. That's our good friend Jeff Vukovic. You can find him at jeffvuk.com. That's jeffvuk.com. And if Stacey's done fooling around with whispers passing notes, can you sing the jingle?
Nationwide is on your side.
Nicely done. And if you're watching on Twitch or on YouTube, you can see that Stacey got a real glass today, so he's feeling good about it.
Yeah, you know what? Finally, America, they stopped giving me like those little dollhouse glasses, and they pull out the Stella Artois. Yeah, it's French. Is that French beer? Is that French?
Yeah, it's French for urine sample.
Wow. Just like Whispers.
Wow. Oh, my goodness.
Okay, Whispers. Touche, you got me there.
Yeah, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, and Whispers is always up to no good.
Yeah, say that. If Mark didn't drink the same beer you had, there might be a war.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So, Mark, if you didn't drink the same beer you did, Mark, I might already got him by now. he might have got a little twang. Is this Stella? Or no, wait a minute, is this Heineken? No, it's not Heineken.
It's got a real European flavor to it.
Real European, like out of the sewer.
It's TW. Timmy Whispers.
Hey, before we bring in Antoine Walker, a lot of people are wondering where the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to fit in the balance of power in the Eastern Conference. I was watching NBA Today, and they had a number of different experts. One had him fifth, one had him sixth, one had him below fifth. So it's all over the place. But with the trade for Donovan Mitchell and the fact that they had a couple of all-stars already on the squad, and Evan Mobley might be the best of that group, they have a lot of potential going forward. Where do you see – Stacey's been working hard. He's got his tiers of power in the Eastern Conference.
America. See, you just think everything's just off the cuff over here on the Hot Sauce Podcast, but we do our homework here.
That's right.
Okay, so let's throw up the tiers.
Nicely done.
This is why the Gimme the Hot
big
Sauce
bucks.
Sriracha crew is so important to what we're doing here. Okay, so when you look at tier one, these are your teams that in tier one that are like the top 4 teams by everybody. So you got 76ers, Bucks, Miami Heat, Boston. No particular order. That's just tier one.
Right.
Bulls fall in that tier 2 range. So you're looking at 5th through 8th.
Right.
Okay, so that's a good place for them. But you look at the teams there. You got Cavaliers, Toronto, Nets. In some polls, Toronto and Brooklyn are ahead of the Bulls. And the Bulls are like 8th or 9th. I don't believe that. I think the Bulls are in that tier 2 range. Now, tier 3 is where it really gets a little dicey because Atlanta is going to be better than what people think.
Right, with DeJounte Murray coming in.
Yes, but I still think they're going to have a hard time with those 2 guards because they're both ball-dominant guards. I think they're going to have some problems. The Knicks are the Knicks. I'm sorry.
Master Luke, I'm sure he's listening.
I'm sorry. I just feel they're going to have the same season. Pistons are going to be better. They normally would be in tier 4, but I think they're going to be much better. Cade Cunningham is a real deal.
Nice young players.
The kid Ivy from Purdue. Jaden is going to be a very good player. I think they're going to complement each other well. And right there, you see there's a black box there, America. That is a team. Okay, we're going to I'm going to put somebody in there. I think the Hornets are in that tier 3 thing. I think they have an opportunity, depending what they do. If Miles Bridges resigns,
that's the big unknown.
That's the big unknown because he got in trouble this
summer,
so he could get suspended, and so that's a little bit of a tough situation there. But I would probably put them in that top 12 teams right there. And as you can see, all these tiers is very competitive. I mean, it's very competitive 1 through 12. I mean, any of those places could be, any of those teams could be up or down. It just doesn't matter. But Cavaliers, Bulls, Toronto, and Nets are in that tier 2. People say the Nets. I still don't believe in the Nets. I still believe guys are upset that they didn't get traded. I believe there's going to be some animosity in that locker room, and I just don't believe they're as good as they think they are.
I read something last week that LaMelo Ball is not very happy with the offseason that the Hornets had. So, hey, he can always come to Chicago.
Hey, hey, I'm not tampering. Hey, first of all, Adam Silver, I'm not tampering. I'm just a guy hosting a podcast show with Mark Shanowski. He's the one tampering.
I brought it up. Yeah.
He's the one tampering. So
I'm not a team employee. I can say whatever I want.
When you find him $5 million.
No. I'm not a team employee. I can say whatever I want.
Don't be trying to come to the Give Me the Hot Sauce Fun. So me and Tim, can we cover the bill?
The free beer, LaMelo.
No, but seriously.
And all the angel water you can drink.
Hey, listen.
That's right.
All I'm going to say about that is the key. What have I been saying the key is?
Get those brothers together. Oh, D'Angelo, yeah.
Get Jello.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about pudding pops.
You do Bill Cosby in your repertoire of impersonations?
Putting your pop where it don't belong.
No,
Just
America.
like whispers.
America, we got. This is my personal opinion. Get that middle son,
Yeah.
Jello, and I'm not talking pudding pops. Get him, okay, and then you got a chance to get the younger one. Because listen, the one thing people don't understand about basketball, because they think a lot of people try to act like you're playing NBA 2K. Okay, it's about the market. It's about markets. Where your
brand.
And your brand.
Yeah.
And these kids are playing for that stuff.
Yeah.
And what you had to be in a big city if you really, 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 really want your brand to take off. So you're talking New York, you're talking, LA, Chicago, Miami. I mean, those are the teams you're talking about.
Yeah.
And so when you got an opportunity, especially with the Bulls on the way up now, they're moving on the way up, being that team now where they were the number one road team last year, number one in attendance at home. That means something when these kids are looking. And then you got your brother on this team.
Yeah.
And then you got the second brother, the middle brother that could also be on this team at some point. Oh, man. I listen.
Stacey can see it now.
I was one of the main people that said, get the Greek freak and the Greek freak brother and the little freaks and all the freaks.
Yeah, all the freaks.
I was telling bring all the freaks when Giannis was a rookie. I'm like, boy, if we could just get one of those brothers and then bring him to Chicago, because you remember, Chicago is a big city with a big Greek contingent. There's great restaurants. They have a great fan base here for them. So, I would have had the mom come in and say, "Hey, you want to work in the you want to cook lunch for us? Come on in, mama. Come on in, mama. Come on in."
Yeah, Giannis rolled his ankle today in Eurobasket action, but he's okay. They said it's just a mild sprain, but I'm sure all the Bucks officials who are over watching the tournament held their breath for a few seconds.
I'm gonna tell you something else. Did you see the Giannis movie?
Oh yeah, I did.
I'm gonna tell you something. Yeah. America, if you haven't seen the Giannis movie,
it's on Disney Plus.
Rise.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's a great movie.
Very good.
I would put it right up there with some of the better sports movies. It might be one of the best basketball movies, like right up in the top 5 basketball movies.
Yeah, and Milwaukee was the one team that were willing to take a chance at him in that first round, brought the whole family over, and that was the key to everything.
That was the whole key. You got to keep them together.
And that's why he's still there, because of that loyalty they showed off the bat.
Because they got all the family there.
They got all the family,
all the brothers are there. They're in the organization somehow, whether they're playing in the G League team. His older brother's on the roster, too.
And the young ones now with their Wisconsin Herd, their G League team in Wisconsin.
America. I guess all these other teams didn't see Rise.
Yeah.
I saw Rise, and I'll tell you right now, I know that family is extremely close, and I'm getting everybody. I'm getting nieces and nephews, whoever. Come on over, baby.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of acting, did you see the show that Patrick Beverley put on at his press conference earlier this week? He walks by Russell Westbrook, and Westbrook's kind of looking at his feet, looking like, oh, yeah, all right. He gives him a weak dap, and he walks on by. And then he's trying to tell him, oh, we're good. Remember when Beverley almost tried to take him out? As they were going to timeout, he almost a knee injury.
It was a couple times he hurt his knee.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, oh my God. Okay. Look at this. Look at this right here. Beverly starts with a bang, America.
Yeah. Like LeBron and AD are supposed to kiss up to him.
They'll be playing with me.
Yeah.
I made the playoffs last year. They didn't. Okay, this is a guy that, they win a play-in game or something and look like they won the world championship. These guys are celebrating, taking jerseys off, crying.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, it's just a first round game. Wow. But the thing about listen, I like Patrick Beverley. I think I'm a big Patrick Beverley fan because he plays hard. He's from Chicago. He's a tough kid. I don't think he's a Patrick Beverley of 3 years ago, let alone 5 years ago. So if you're the Lakers, what direction are you going? Like, it's almost like they're confused at moves they need to make. I mean, you had THT that you could have moved for draft picks or a better player that could actually help you. You probably could have gotten Patrick Beverly off the waiver wire because Utah's going in a younger movement, and they probably would have released him. You could have picked him up there. But you gave up a young, talented player who's coveted in this NBA. There's a lot of teams that wanted THT.
Yeah, I think that the Lakers are probably still trying to talk with Indiana, trying to find a way to get Buddy Hield. But you have to give him multiple draft picks to take on that Westbrook contract.
Nobody wants to help the Lakers.
No, they shouldn't.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? Because at the end of the day, it's like you're going to give up an all-star power forward center in Turner. You're going to give up one of the best three-point shooters in the NBA in Buddy Hield, who's a young player. It's not like he's 30.
Right.
And why would you do that?
Yeah.
Why would you do that? I mean, you have established players. If you're Indiana, how low do you want to go to rebuild?
Well, because they're totally tearing it down. They're going to be the worst team in the East this year.
Yeah,
if they make
but
that trade.
what these teams don't understand is that you're giving up guys who are still not even in their prime yet. So you're selling on them. You're selling to get draft picks. You don't know what a draft pick is going to be later on down the line. You don't know who. I mean, is it Zion? Or is it Michael Carter Williams? I mean, you just don't know. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, it's like I got a proven all-star caliber center in Turner. If I don't get the package I want for him, then we'll just sit on him. We still got him for 3 or 4 years. Buddy Hield, who's an excellent three-point shooter. You just got him from Sacramento. You know how important three-point shooting is in his game, and you got one of the best at it, and you're ready to move him for draft picks?
Yeah, that's going to be a soap opera to watch again as the Lakers turn. Hey, before we bring in our friend Antoine Walker, Christopher Walken, can you do the hot sauce read, please?
Yeah.
Tell the folks how they can get the best hot sauce in the game.
Trying to score the best hot sauce in the game? Well, listen up, because we have a variety of flavors that will bring some spice into your life. That's right. Give Me the Hot Sauce has the best small batch organic sauces for your kitchen. Whether it's Chicago-style red sauce with a garlic twist, fan favorite San Pedro Verde, our spicy and sweet King's Q, or the hottest of the bunch, Chicago Fire 1871.
Ow! What's that going to do to you, that hot one?
It'll burn your eyeballs out, Mark. I told you that.
Oh, I'm back. You thought I was gone, Mr. Walken. I don't want to hear your weasel voice anymore. Tell me, Gina.
I'm not finished, you moron.
You are done.
Stop by GimmeTheHotSauce.com and use code KING21 to get 21% off. Is that right, Macho?
Scratch that, Miracle. I want you to use Macho Man Savage. Break it to a Slim Jim.
Go get me some Slim Jims there.
And each box lovingly packed by our friend Tim Kelley.
The Packer. The hot sauce Packer.
He be the hot sauce Packer.
The hot sauce Packer.
Thanks. I'll just go now and start
I
packing.
need my hot sauce packed. Timmy.
They're going to stroke out.
Well, in the Sriracha waiting room, former NBA All-Star Antoine Walker. That's next on episode 97 of Gimme the Hot Sauce. Episode 97 of Gimme the Hot Sauce rolls on. It is now our pleasure to welcome in a special guest to Gimme the Hot Sauce. He is Chicago native, the pride of Mount Carmel High School. Won a national championship in Kentucky. Won an NBA title with the Miami Heat. Antoine Walker is our special guest. Twan, thank you so much for making time for us. You still got those Chicago roots. I know you're there now. Is that always coursing through your veins, the pride of being a Chicago native?
Yeah, I'm Chicago to the day I die. But yeah, I'm back living in Chicago full time. My family's here. Obviously, good friends are here of mine. So I don't know if I'm gonna be here forever, but for right now, Chicago's home.
Talk a little bit about growing up here in Chicago and playing basketball in this city, which has really produced some of the best basketball players that we've ever seen, and your choice to go to Kentucky. Were you ever even close to staying in state and going to U of I or DePaul or anything?
Well, it's not just growing up in Chicago. I think what made growing up in Chicago special is that the way people cover high school sports, and elementary school. I remember being ranked in 8th grade. How you get ranked in 8th grade? And, they was putting us in rankings at that time. So, and it was covered really heavily. I used to look forward to looking in the Tribune and Sun-Times and seeing where you was ranked and what the good high schools and all that stuff. So the way high school basketball was covered made it really special. And there was so much talent that come out of Chicago, and the competition was so stiff. So you had to really work on your game and be in the gym all the time to get really good. And when I got in high school and went to Mount Carmel, of course, my high school coach went to DePaul. So he wanted me to obviously go there. Joy Meyer was the coach at the time, and I really considered going there, and Illinois too as well. They were coming off the Kenny Battle, Kendall Gill, Steve Bartle, Nick Anderson, that run. So I was really interested in that school as well too. So the Midwest schools really had a shot, especially the in-state schools of getting me. But Kentucky fitted my style of play. I was a huge fan of Jamal Mashburn. He was going to leave once coming in, so I knew it was going to be an opportunity for me to get a lot of playing time right away. And the style of play, he was going to let me shoot threes and, handle the basketball. And not saying other schools wasn't going to do that, but the style of play fitted me perfectly.
Hey, Antoine, I was one of those media guys that was chasing you back in the high school days. I remember doing a story on you when I was at ABC 7. You were playing high school basketball. One of your teammates, people don't realize this, Donovan McNabb was on the team.
Yes.
And one of the volunteer assistants at the time was Stormin Norm Van Leer. What was that like to try to soak in the wisdom of Norm? And did Norm ever lose his cool during some of those practices?
Oh, Norm lost his cool a ton.
No surprise to hear that.
Yeah, he was, obviously we all know how Norm was. He's very vocal, straight shooter, tell you how it is, which was great for me. I mean, I was an undisciplined kid that thought all you're supposed to do is just, shoot the basketball, and that was going to, get you somewhere. So he was great. He was a great addition, a great help for us. And what more can I say about Donovan McNabb? We went to school all 4 years. He was the second leading scorer. He was my running mate all 4 years. We had great success on the basketball court, but just a good friend that we obviously, rooted and cared for each other in school and really pushed each other. A lot of people don't know. I don't know if you guys even remember. Donovan went to school to play basketball and football.
Yeah.
He was on the basketball team at Syracuse.
Right.
Yep.
So it's funny. I played against Donovan in the national championship game.
Wow.
He was on that team. He was on the Syracuse team, and so just great to see how his career turned out. And never thought he would be the quarterback that he was, because if you ever went to a Mount Carmel high school game, it was a lot of option running, a lot of running the ball. He probably only threw the ball 10, 12 times a game. And then to see him go to Syracuse and do what he did with his arm was unbelievable.
Yeah, and speaking of style of play, you played in the Catholic League, and that was not what you would call fast-paced basketball. You have games that were 39 to 36. How frustrating was that to play in that slow style when you had that talent that could just score on anybody?
I think this obviously conference play was difficult, but the school did a good job of giving us good non-conference games. So we would play some public schools during the school year. We played in, I remember, Centralia Christmas tournament. So we would go downstate and play in big Christmas tournaments. So they did a good job of mixing it up, but it was the best thing for us, especially for me as a player. So I was ecstatic about being in Mount Carmel. And we didn't ever win a state championship, but we were always ranked in the top 3, and we gave some public schools a run for their money.
Talk a little bit about when you got drafted by Boston. You go into a storied franchise with all those banners. How was that for you? How intimidating was that when you first walked in there and you saw those all those people the fans how they love Boston, and because that's a crazy fan base.
Man, it was actually really scary when I think about it. I look back on it. Well, at the time when I came in, ML Carr was the head coach and GM. Dennis Johnson was the assistant. Casey Jones was the assistant. Tommy Heinsohn doing radio. At this time when I came in, JoJo White was a part of the organization. Cedric Maxwell was doing radio. Bird was around. Bill Russell was around. Red Auerbach.
Wow.
And they were coming off some tough years. We all know about Reggie Lewis and then Len Bias. So they were really in the rebuilding stage. So it was great. They embraced me with open arms. But, yeah, it's intimidating because it's a different organization. They're very proudful. They bleed green, and And, it was a huge responsibility to not necessarily win an NBA championship, but to try to get back to respectability because they're an organization that wants to be at the top of the NBA every year. So, but it was intimidating at first, but to be around those guys and to be able to soak up the knowledge and the things I was able to get from them early in my career was invaluable.
You played with Paul Pierce. Both of you guys made all-star teams. You scored a lot of points, but as you mentioned, you didn't have the team success that you wanted. How frustrating was that? I know Paul at times lashed out about his frustration. Was that tough playing, as you mentioned, with a rabid fan base and not being able to win the games like you think you should in Boston?
Oh, it was difficult in the beginning, but I think one thing that we did get back to the playoffs. I think that was something that we could hold our hat on. We got a run there. We went to the Eastern Conference Finals where we lost to New Jersey. And New Jersey was on their run when they went to the finals back-to-back. So it was a little frustrating because we wanted to build a team. We had myself and Paul, and we probably was one other player away from really being the Eastern, to probably getting to the finals. But, it happens. We both were still able to get our NBA titles. He was able to do it as a Celtic, which is great. I was able to go to Miami and win it with some special guys, to be able to play with Shaq and D Wade and Alonzo Mourning and Gary Payton with those guys was a great treat for me. And so it worked out for the best.
When you look back at your first year, you led the team in scoring a rebound. Your team didn't have success, but then here comes your coach from college, Rick Pitino. And so when you found out that Rick Pitino was a possibility that he could come to Boston and coach, what were you thinking in that moment?
Actually, I was excited, man, because obviously I had a lot of success with him in college, and coach I was really coach to coach at the time, and he was a father figure for me. So when I came in, he actually really helped me, even after having a good rookie year, because he moved me from the 3 to the 4. And that was huge for me. So that gave me a lot of disadvantages. Gave me a lot of advantages at the 4 position, playing in the league at the 4. And I wasn't your typical 4-man. So it gave me opportunity to really flourish. When his first year, I think I made the All-Star team that year and put up probably my career numbers with Rick Pitino that year. So it was great. And he came in, obviously, one thing about Coach that made it a little sour is that he wanted to win right away. I mean, you guys know when you're in the rebuilding stage, it takes time. He was impatient. He was wearing 2 hats. He was the GM and the head coach, which was unheard of at that time, which was very difficult for him to do. And I just played with too many players in a 2-year span. I mean, we drafted Chauncey Billups 3rd and traded him at All-Star break. I mean,
wow.
I mean, really, how you draft a guy in, 3rd and we trade him at All-Star break. So that's how impatient he was about winning. And so it didn't work out for Coach with the team, and we started to get a little bit better after he ended up leaving.
Yeah, that was the year I think Boston had 2 or 3 first-round draft picks, and they're hoping to get Tim Duncan, and then you ended up. Yep. It didn't work out. What was it? Ron Mercer.
We got Chauncey and Ron, which are still 2 great players. Obviously, we wanted Tim Duncan, and kind of like my rookie year, without me knowing. I mean, back when you never thought about it, but we wasn't really trying to win. I mean, I think Elden was trying to get me a lot of playing time. I was playing a bunch of minutes, getting some experience. But winning the losses, they wasn't on the top of the list. We won 15 games, so that's
that's a long year.
I think we were 15. We were 15 like 67. I think it was crazy.
Yeah, but for a young player like yourself, you're getting all those minutes. If you go on to a veteran team, let's say you came on with Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, and those guys, you probably were not even playing. So you get an opportunity to play, hone your skills, go with everybody every night. Because, you was going to everybody as a rookie. They're like, oh, who's this dude? This dude putting up numbers.
Yes, that's one thing I give. I always tell people, I always thank ML for, because he brought me along slowly, then kind of turned me loose there towards the second half of the season and gave me a real opportunity to compete against guys. And then remember, I was playing at 3 positions, so I'm going against the Scottie Pippens of the world and those type of guys. So it was really tough, and getting the opportunity to go against those guys and with 40 minutes and having opportunities was a big success for me, and it helped me going into the next year.
Antoine, you've always had a big personality. You enjoy talking with people, and life comes at you fast. You come into the NBA, you're scoring a lot of points. You're in national ad campaigns. You're employee number 8. What was that? What was that all like for you, doing those national ads?
It was great. Sonny Vaccaro was running the D's at the time. I knew Sonny Vaccaro in high school, and when I came out, he gave me a big Adidas deal. And I have to really give all the credit to Adidas. They came up with the campaign, the slogan, and the whole New Kids on the Block, Boston, employee number 8. That was all the Adidas and putting the marketing behind me. And they were trying to make a big splash in basketball. They signed myself, Kobe, Tracy McGrady, I think Jermaine O'Neal. So they were really starting to take off in the basketball circuit. And so I always thank Sonny Vaccaro and Adidas for getting behind me and supporting me and actually making me and branding me and marketing me out there.
Now, you talked about earlier when you came on about winning a championship in Miami. Tell us, because I played with Pat Riley. so give the listeners a little bit of your experience playing with, first of all, Hall of Famers in Shaq and D Wade, and then playing with Pat Riley. Pat Riley is a different guy, different coach.
Yeah, I mean, I'll never forget the opportunity of playing with those guys. I think, and Stacey, you can attest to this when you're a part of championship teams, and I just always remember how close we were on and off the court, and how much time we spent with each other. When you just think about, they put that team together in over a summer. And basically, guys bought into it. That was my 9th year, but I never went into a training camp where the expectations was championship or bust. So the focus was just totally different. And being around Shaq, I tell people Shaq is one of my best teammates I played with, the same guy every day. To be around D Wade and watch him come into becoming this superstar was unbelievable. Lonzo Mourning, to see the work ethic that he put in every day to be able to play. People don't understand. He was taking 40, 50 pills a day. He had to get his blood work every day, get checked to be able to play and to watch him go on that journey. And obviously Gary Payton, who's a good friend of mine. So just all those guys, Udonis Haslem, Posey, White Chocolate, Jay Will. So it was that was special to me to be a part of that team and how close we were. We had a saying that we called it 15 strong. So that was our little saying throughout the whole season. But then the big fella, now you know about Pat Riley.
Yeah. Tell a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Because people think I exaggerate.
No. So you guys that probably don't remember, Stan Van Gundy was the coach first.
Yes, he was first, yes.
So Stan coached the first 20 games. We were 10-10. And we woke up the next day and Pat said, came down and told us he was letting Stan go and he'll be the head coach. And things dramatically changed. For me personally, Stan wanted me coming off the bench because they liked UD in the starting lineup. So immediately Pat Riley told him, you don't come off the bench no more. He told me I don't come off the bench no more. I start and we'll figure out how you're going to get your points and score, but you're going to start with D Wade and Shaq. So I'm like, all right, that was one start. But just a disciplinarian, work hard. You got to work hard for him. Stacey, you know how he is, the body fat and weight on you every single day. About that, I mean,
the bikes.
The bikes, you got to, he gonna talk to you for about an hour. Then you got to hit the bike for about 45 minutes. You got your own personal bike, and this ain't gonna just ride the bikes. People got to understand. You got to put your heart monitor on. You got to know that heart rate's up. But yeah, 4-hour practices, Steve. You know that 4-hour practices.
Like a job.
Knee pads, everything. Hey, that's Rouse. Long hour. I never know a man that has so many stories. He had a story for you every day.
Yes.
That would last 30, 45 to an hour. So he's just one of those guys. But it was great to play for him, though. He's a great coach, great IQ for the game, challenges you, holds you accountable. The way he coached D Wade and Shaq, I don't think too many people could coach those guys like that. He coached those guys really hard.
Antoine, have you seen the show Winning Time on HBO, where they kind of lampoon the whole thing, where they've got these actors playing the different roles, and they make Pat Riley look like this weak guy that didn't know what was going on? I mean, it's a crazy show. But this whole summer, there's been different things. Magic Johnson did a 4-part series on Apple TV, and now there's something on Hulu with the legacy of the Lakers. It seems like people are learning about Pat Riley all over again. Because remember, he was a great player at Kentucky, kind of, a bench player in the NBA, but he had to find his way in the coaching ranks and kind of got to this legend status. People don't realize that he had to kind of claw for everything that he got.
Yeah, and one thing about him, he's not humble. He's very cocky. He's not. So it's different. Like, he had humble beginnings to get in, but That's not the way he is. I mean, like, and he demands it. One thing I do like about him, he lays the rules out for you. Because, Stacey knows there are NBA rules, and then he hands you the Miami Heat rule book.
Yeah.
Which is a little different. So, and he treats you like a man. So one thing you understand, if you do something that requires a fine, you get your pink slip and you move on. And that's the way he is. So you have to respect that about him. But he wants to win, and it has to be his way or the highway. So it ain't no in between. You're gonna do it his way, and that's what makes probably the Heat culture as good as is. And you see so many players be successful, guys that are played at other places go there and their career starts over when they get with the Miami Heat.
Yeah, he's demanding, but he does everything first class. You don't stay in nothing but Ritz-Carltons.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, everything first class. Yeah,
everything's first class.
We were one of the first with our own plane too. I think the plane when teams were trying to, when once owners started buying their own plane. I want to say the Heat were one of the first with their own plane.
Yeah, his first year I was there with him. They built that plane. They were building that plane, and we got to fly on. It was me and Pete Myers was down there, boy. We coming from Chicago and then playing for Phil Jackson and then playing for him. They both are alike. They're both very competitive, but they go about two different ways getting to where they need to go. And one thing I say about Pat is Pat's very demanding. If you down there on some, I'm just gonna chill in Miami, you might as well just pack up and go on home because that's not gonna happen.
Oh no, he gonna get it out of you because he knows how Miami is, so he makes sure he gets out of it. You need a nap after you leave there.
Oh,
you got to get a nap.
Listen, I tell people all the time, I couldn't even say, how'd you like Miami? Was it nice? I never got to see it. I was too tired.
Too busy running.
I'm too busy running 17s. Hey, Twan, you walk into the practice facility, right? He got 17 bikes lined up. Everybody got their own individual bike. It's like Tour de France. Yeah. And you not just riding the bike. You actually it's like them spin classes, Orange Therapy or all that stuff. Yeah. You doing that kind of stuff. That woo. And you don't want to miss practice. Because if y'all sitting out hurt, you running, you doing something that if the team is out there for 4 hours, you doing something on the sideline for 4 hours.
Yeah, you might as well practice. It ain't good.
Yeah, I'll go out and limp out with a hurt knee. I got a torn ACL. I'm just gonna go out there and play. I'd rather practice than be doing all this stuff over there.
Hey, we have some questions from our Twitch chat. One person was asking, did you ever play against Ronnie Fields and Kevin Garnett in high school?
No, they 1 year ahead of me.
Okay.
I never got an opportunity to play against those two. They're 93, maybe. They're 93, 94.
Who were some of the guys that were your peers that you played against in high school?
That was probably my guys were Rashad Griffin, Michael Herman, Jerry G,
right?
Jimmy
Jerry
Saxton.
G?
Yeah, Jimmy Jackson. I'm doing Jimmy Saxton. Trying to think of all the guys that in the public league that were really good. But King was the dominant team in the public league when I came in my years.
Right.
And they had both the 7-footers, Tommy and Rashad.
Right.
The 7-footers. Yeah. So those are they dominated the public league at that time.
When you talked about when Rick Pitino came over and took over the Celtics and he moved you to the 4. See, now it's funny when you look at today's game now, you start to see that. Like you might have been like the forefather of that because now when you look at the game now, you see guys who played small forward early in their career now are stretch 4s. So when you watch the game, do you see like where do you think you would have fit into this style of play with the way it's so open? The fouls are not as aggressive as we saw when we played. The game's more open. How would you think your game would have translated?
I think it would have been perfect. I used to get criticized for shooting so many threes. Every team now in the league shoots 50 threes a game. So now that opens up. That's a different lane for me. Being able to handle the ball. You had to be with the right coach sometimes for a coach to let you do that. And I think now you got more teams that are doing it. But I always say right now when I watch the game, I was just born too early. This is the time I need to be playing in right now. This is like, perfect style of basketball that I wish I could play in. I enjoy it. I know, sometimes it gets a little, every team just really pick and roll, but I can play in the pick and roll. Like you can play in the pick and roll. So it's that type of game. So I love it.
No, I was just telling Stacey about your famous quote when somebody asked you, why do you shoot so many threes? You said because there aren't any fours? What was the context? What was the context of that? Because that guy must have been embarrassed after he asked that.
Well, you know what it was? I'm going to be honest with you. It was All-Star weekend. It was Saturday, you know, your mandatory media day.
Yeah.
And I was hungover from the night before. I'm serious. You at the media session, and at the time, I think I probably had like 250 attempts up already by All-Star break. So they was giving me a hard time. He's like, "Why you shooting so many threes?" That's when it just came out like there ain't no fours. But I was hungover. It was All-Star weekend though.
That's a great quote though.
Now, growing up in Chicago, were you a Bulls fan?
Huge Bulls fan. Obviously, the first 3 championships, you know, that you got sitting in my face, staring in my face right now.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man.
I felt I was a huge fan of that. And then obviously the last 3, I came in the league in '96, so I got to go against those, the guys in 96, 97. So I wasn't really cheering for them, but obviously I was aware of them. My first game was against the Chicago Bulls, so that was crazy. My first NBA game was against the Bulls. So I went 1-11 against those teams.
Wow.
We won 1 game, and obviously we never played each other in the playoffs. But 96, 97, 98, I won 1 game.
You're not the only one. There are a lot of teams that won 1-11.
There's a lot of teams right now. There's line 7. We got Milwaukee on the line.
We caught that game. We caught them in the beginning when Scotty was sitting out. Remember Scotty didn't play the first 30, 40 games?
Right.
We caught him early, opening night.
Hey, I tell you what, man. I mean, you know, when you're watching these games now, I know you're a huge fan. What players do you love to watch? Like, love to watch play because the way they play the game.
First and foremost is Giannis. I think Giannis is unbelievable. I love watching him. I'm a huge Russell Westbrook fan. I know he didn't have a great year last year, but prior to that, just one of those guys that was going to give you, you know, max effort every night. I like watching him play. I still like watching LeBron play. I think what he's doing is special at his age. I watch like LeBron and then, you know, Kevin Durant is another guy I like to watch because his size and his ability to shoot the basketball. So I got about 10 guys that I'm going to tune in to watch. Steph is in there. The young guys, Ja Morant. I like to watch him play. I really enjoyed last year, to be honest with you. I enjoyed watching DeMar DeRozan kind of reset his career and, you know, be in the MVP conversation and watch his run. So I got my guys I watch regardless of what's on national TV. I still go on edition, and I'm going to watch players I like to watch.
Early in the show, we were talking about the Bulls getting ready for the start of training camp, and Stacey's been over at the Advocate Center, and he said he thinks Patrick Williams is poised for a breakout year. Here's a guy who didn't start in college. He's 1 year at Florida State and had an injury last year, unfortunately, but he's got all the raw physical tools. He's about 6'7", 6'8", with long arms. He's got a nice shooting touch. What do you think the ceiling is for Patrick Williams in the NBA?
I love him. I think he came into the league. People thought he was going to be just a defender. I think his offensive game has picked up, and I think he understands that. Last year, I know he struggled in the playoffs, making shots. He had tough times. So that's those things that motivates guys to be better. But I like him. I think he's a great addition to their team. He can be able to play the 3 and the 4. And was just what we talked about. Stacey just talked about. He's kind of like one of those positionless players. You know, you can play him at, you know, in that 3-4 position. He don't really have a set position. And once that jump shot starts to fall, you know, sky's the limit how good he's going to be.
Let our listeners know, Twan, what you're doing now. You're in the media field now. You're doing a little broadcasting, and tell us a little bit about that.
So I've been working with Fox now for the last 3 years. 4 years now. So I'm typically on there first things first in the morning, and Colin. I go on Colin a lot. Worked a lot on all the shows, really, because of the Zoom, how we're talking right now. But we're first things first is back in the studio. It's not in the morning anymore, but I'm still a part of their team. Did NBA TV last year for the first time. So I went down and worked with those guys for the first time. So I'm looking forward to going back to being on NBA TV. And then also I work with the league during the season. I do all the financial literacy with the Players Association. So this will be my 4th year coming up with those guys. So we travel to all 30 teams and have these meetings and conversations with the guys about financial literacy and making sure guys are doing the right things with their money. So that's been it's been very good for me to be able to be back a part of that and to be back around the guys. So I stay busy, man. I stay busy during the season, and I'm just happy to still be a part of it.
Twan, how'd you get involved in that with the financial literacy? Obviously, people know your story. You had some financial difficulties after your playing career. Is that something that you really wanted to get involved with? Is that something you initiated?
Yeah, I was doing it at the collegiate level, which was fine. But I wanted to be back in front of my peers, and I got blessed with the opportunity about 4 years ago. They started to use more retired players to be a part of it, and myself, Eddie Curry, ex-Bull, is a part of it. Eddie Nahara. So we got some ex-players that come in and help and share their testimony and try to help these young guys out. So it's been great to be back a part of that as well.
I gotta ask you a question because when you have guys like there's a lot of hatred for Isaiah Thomas for being a Piston, the Bulls fans. Like, what was your relationship with growing up? And did you idolize Isaiah Thomas, or were you a fan of Isaiah Thomas when he was playing for the Pistons?
No, I wasn't a fan of Isaiah. I became a fan of Isaiah over years lately because I've had an opportunity to see him now even more and be around him and get to know him. I was a Magic Johnson guy. When I grew up, I idolized Magic Johnson, and then obviously, we all grew and loved and followed Michael once here in Chicago. So that quickly turned from Magic to loving Michael. So real quick. So, but I've over the years got an opportunity to get to know Isaiah on a more personal level. So I really enjoy speaking to him and talking to him, and just to hear some of his Chicago roots because. I didn't get a chance to see Isaiah play. So I missed like the Isaiahs, the Mark Aguirres. I didn't see them play. I've only heard stories and saw very small footage on all those guys. So now getting the opportunity to be around them, it's a little different. My guy's more like Tim Hardaway.
Yeah.
Where like I've seen Tim, played against Tim. Though he was more of my speed. The older guys I didn't get an opportunity really to see, but now I know Isaiah, so I'm on a more personal level. So I've grown to like him, and we've become friends now.
Antoine, though, you're in Chicago's top 5 all time over those 3 guys you just mentioned as well.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm sad. Like I never got an opportunity to really sit and play.
That was from the Sports Press of Chicago. Chicago's top 5. You're in the top 5 of all time.
Well, I'm glad because we got mixed emotions. You get to argue about Chicago basketball with guys. They get to going. They can go deep on you. They start talking about guys, and if I ain't seen them play, it's hard to rank them. So I always go with guys that I know and I've seen play.
So Tim, you don't have any weird connection of people that you met that third hand?
Any peeping Tom stories that you happen to be hiding in his closet in downtown?
Tim is our secret weapon. We never know what he's going to ask Antoine. So
a little creepy, Twan. A little creepy.
There is a story with Antoine. It doesn't involve me though. But is it true that a while back when Jordan was looking to get back in shape, that you were running with him, and then they invited a young 16-year-old LeBron James in, and they ended up playing one-on-one back then? So they actually did it.
So in 2001, I used to get a phone call randomly. I'm done with the season, and it's Michael. Back when we used to call private. Yeah. So the number comes up private. You know what I mean? So I answer the phone, ended up being Michael. And at the time in Chicago, we probably had about 30, 35 pros that lived in the city. And I was kind of like the commissioner of the workouts, of the runs. Not so much the workouts, the runs or the pickup ball. So guys would play 4 or 5 days out the week. And I think somebody told Michael that you need to find Antoine because he can get all the guys together. So Michael called and said, hey, keep it quiet. I'm thinking about coming back. I want to get in the gym, see how my body feels. And we started going to the gym every day with Tim Grover at Hoops Gym and working out every single day the whole summer. So the runs were unbelievable. They used to be legendary. I mean, we had guys flying in town. And Michael's real particular on how he likes to run. And Stacey probably knows this. He wants referees. He wants the game to be played in a real 5-on-5 setting. Obviously they're competitive. It's crazy. And LeBron came up there, at 16. He stayed there with us for a whole week. He stayed with us for a week and trained and played Mike one-on-one. But, Tim Grover's really he runs the gym really strict. So young guys wasn't allowed to play in the beginning. So they would have to play wait till we tired, and then they would get a chance to play at the end. So LeBron didn't get through in the mix like that, when he first got up here. But he got an opportunity to be around Michael and see us play and be competitive. But those runs were legendary, man. Wow. There were some great basketball games.
So even the chosen one had to wait his turn. That's a great
right.
story.
Yeah, he had to wait his turn. Yeah,
So
that is the truth. How you hear that story?
So who won?
How you hear that story?
Yeah, but who won the one-on-one game? Who won the one-on-one game?
No, he didn't. LeBron didn't win.
No, there's no way you're beating Mike. Come on now.
I heard the story was Mike beat him and then patted him on the back. Says that's why I get $33 million a year.
Yeah, wow. That's probably he probably said something on that. He probably said something to that lines. Everybody knows Mike's probably the biggest trash talk ever. So that's something Mike probably said to him. But yeah, that was an amazing summer for me personally and just everybody. I mean, guys would fly in, stay a whole week, get out of there. But we already had, like I said, 30 pros. At that time, myself, Juwan Howard, Michael Finley, Tim Hardaway, Quentin Richardson, Darius Miles, Bobby Simmons. I mean, we had 30 guys already floating around in the city every day anyway. And then we had all these guys would fly in to play. We played at 2 o'clock every day. We would play from 2 to 5:30. The runs be 3.5 hours. But if you lose, you may have to sit out 2 games.
Wow.
Before you can get back on. So guys would come in early, get their work in, your individual shooting. They lifting, and we played every day at 2 o'clock. But it was great.
That's really awesome that Tim was able to dig that up.
Yeah.
This is a guy, like I said, he probably was at Hoops Gym in an event. And he saw it himself.
Yeah.
That's the kind of report. That's the kind of reporter he is, Antoine.
Well, I was invited, but I thought it was to play, and they said, no, you can manage the Gatorade. So that's what happened.
Everybody has a job, Tim. You just got to do it well.
Do it. He was packing back then.
Yeah, we had.
But no, that was a great time. That's great. That's actually great that people. I didn't know you knew that, but yeah, that was a great time. A lot of people don't know that's how that went.
Yeah, you mentioned Tim Hardaway. He's taking his rightful spot in the Basketball Hall of Fame this weekend, so we wish Tim well. We had him on the show a couple of weeks ago. Twan, we want to thank you so much for taking time with us. It was great catching up. Great to see you back in Chicago. Best of luck with your media endeavors, and we look forward to talking to you again down the road.
All right, thanks. Thanks for having me on the show.
I appreciate it, Twan. Stay on the grind, boy.
Appreciate it.
Take care.
All right, babe.
Antoine Walker, our special guest, episode 97 of Give Me the Hot Sauce. The Bears season kicks off this Sunday at home against the San Francisco 49ers. We'll talk some football when we come back. We had a great time talking with Antoine Walker. You might have heard it coming out of the break, saying people are on the Twitch chat are amazed that Tim could dig up this information.
Yeah. So Nick Bianchi says, I knew Timmy knew something. Wow.
They're throwing you a bone.
Wow.
Instead of last week, I just feel dumber every time he talks.
Oh, yeah. Somebody said that.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure that was a compliment or not.
It's not just all your impersonations and good looks. You've got some knowledge, too.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Antoine was impressed, though.
Yeah, he was.
I just can picture this, a 16-year-old LeBron James say, hey, can I play? Can I play?
Yeah.
That's just weird that he had to, first of all, that he was there, that he was invited to play with all these NBA guys, and then he had to stand on the sideline and wait his turn.
Well, obviously they knew about him.
Oh, sure, yeah.
You don't just show up from Akron, Ohio,
right, and
showing up in that type of environment with all those pros. Somebody knew about him, and someone said, this kid is the real deal. We need to bring him in.
That's crazy, though, because that was before all the Sports Illustrated and the hype. Because he was still playing football back then.
Michael knew him before that, though. See,
Yeah.
Michael knew him during the Bulls' second three-peat and met him when they played the Cavaliers. There's pictures and videos of him actually talking to LeBron when LeBron was probably like a sophomore in high school. And so he knew about him. And I'm sure Nike knew about him, and all the people at the brass at Nike said, hey, this kid's the real deal. This might be the second coming. And so that's probably how he got in there.
But that shows you how the hype train was just on full speed. Here's a 16-year-old kid, and Antoine's organizing games with people he knew from the NBA, and someone must have contacted Antoine and said, hey, why don't we bring this kid in here too?
Black Jesus. Michael Jordan made that phone call. It's like he got that direct phone call. LeBron. I need you in Chicago. Get out there now. Yeah. I'm on my way, Mike. So he's coming.
I'm going to teach you a lesson.
I guarantee that's what happened.
Yeah.
Because there's no way in the world, like if that kid could not have played at 16 years old, there's no way in the world MJ's going to bring him in there. No way.
All the guys he rattled off the names,
Yes.
all-star caliber players. He's bringing a high school kid in to play
You bring a
against him.
16-year-old kid in there to play against pros.
Yeah.
So that just tells you, listen, any LeBron haters out there, you can hate him for, leaving Cleveland and doing all the decision, because that's basically where all the hate came from.
That's
was
where
the
it
decision.
came from.
That's where it all came from. Had that never taken place, LeBron, there would not be so much LeBron hate. There would be more. He would be more adored, like Michael Jordan, whether he had played in Miami. Because all he had to do in that decision was he should have fired whoever made that. Whoever said let's do this on national television, should have fired him. But what he should have done was just say, hey, look, I'm going somewhere. I'm gonna play with my friend. I'm going to Miami to play with Dwayne Wade. I don't think anybody would have faulted him for doing that. But the way the big press conference and the decision and taking the video of him walking around and going to visit teams and stuff, and
we're gonna win 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, and then it was like,
that press conference was horrible.
I'm taking my talents to South Beach, and I think that really rubbed people the wrong way.
Right,
To me, honestly, I could be wrong, but that's where all the LeBron hate started.
And then the owner threw gasoline on the fire.
And then the owner said he never want him back.
Yeah.
We're glad he's gone.
We're going to win a championship before he is.
Yeah, no, you're not. Just stop, Daniel Gilbert. You're not going to win it without him, okay? And so then he comes back, he wins a title in Cleveland. And so then he leaves again. But there was no hate this time leaving because he brought a title to Cleveland.
Right.
He did what he said he was going to do. I think he went to Miami to learn how to win. That's what I think, me personally. I think he went to Miami, learn how to, play under a Pat Riley, under Spoelstra, learn. I think that's where he learned his GM ability from Pat Riley. But he should be fired as a GM right now.
Yeah, he's lost his skills.
I'm telling you right now, man, I mean, I'm a LeBron James fan, okay, but I'm not a LeBron James GM fan because the moves that have been made, the last couple of years, other than Anthony Davis, has not really been well. Because you imagine if if LeBron would have just been a little patient and let those kids like Lonzo Ball, Ingram, who turned out to be all-star.
Yeah. Julius Randle was there.
Randle, Kuzma, Caruso's there. Let those guys grow and marinate.
Patience.
Now, and patience. Yeah. Now, you take 2 years to wait for that. Maybe 3, okay? Now you're looking at yourself having a dynasty with that young team.
Oh, my
God. With the way they've all turned out, come on, man. Really?
Yeah.
You could have won 4 or 5 titles with that team.
Yeah, patience is a tough thing. Hey, the NFL season kicks off today. We are recording this episode on Thursday evening. The Los Angeles Rams, Buffalo Bills. That's a good game. A lot of people, whispers, are picking Buffalo to win it all. What do you think?
Nope.
Who do you got? Who do you got?
To win it all this year?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's a tough pick. But, I mean, last year I went with Tennessee, so I got smoked on that one.
Yeah.
And
the thing with Buffalo, they brought in Von Miller to strengthen their defense. Josh Allen went head-to-head with Mahomes last year. I mean, I think Buffalo is ready, but there's so much competition in the AFC. It's going to come down to who gets hot in the playoffs and who plays some defense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to pick the Rams, though, again.
Why is that?
At this point. They're not old like some of these other teams. And they still picked up some good players again. I don't know how they do it because we give everyone away.
Well, the Bears kick off the season noon Sunday at Soldier Field against the San Francisco 49ers, and they're trying to work in a new quarterback in Trey Lance. Justin Fields has been getting a lot of favorable reviews both locally and nationally with his play. The Bears, of course, went 3-0 during the preseason. Fields had 3 touchdown passes in the last one against the Cleveland Browns.
Undefeated.
Stacey, I think he could be a surprise. And he's starting to get some respect nationally because people forget this guy's got all the physical tools you want in an NFL quarterback.
3-0 during the preseason. I know people are going, it's only the preseason, but for the Bears, that's huge. And for his confidence, that's huge because he played well, especially in that last preseason game where I think he completed like 70% of his passes. I mean, he was just unbelievable. You look at their schedule, and we talked about it last week when we popped their schedule up. They have an opportunity to win some games. You know, there's only a few games in that early going that, like you say, okay, that's going to be tough. But, I mean, look, San Francisco, Texans, New York Giants, Minnesota, the Washington Commandos.
New England doesn't look like they're
Miami. New England's still New England, though, Mark. So the Cowboys, New England, and I say Green Bay. Green Bay, you can get Green Bay early because they have inexperience at the wide receiver position. Aaron Rodgers hasn't had a lot of work with those guys because he just like basically had a tantrum and said, oh, you know what, I'm sitting out. I'm not playing with you guys. You guys suck. Where's Devontae?
Yeah, there's been talk Alan Lazard's not going to play this Sunday against Minnesota, so that's his best returning receiver. He's hurt too.
Really? He's not going to play?
It's questionable
man,
at this point.
He's on my fantasy team. See, all this is
Get on out there, Alan Lazard.
I'm sorry, America. You know, fantasy has taken over the NFL game. Okay, fantasy is huge. Okay,
But Kittle's out Sunday too.
Oh, I
Kittle's
drafted
out.
him.
Oh, Stacey's fantasy team taking a hit.
Oh, okay. See,
Oh, my
America,
goodness.
Brittle Kittle.
Okay, I got Brittle Kittle. Oh, you know what? I gotta make a phone call to some people to know some people and say,
there's no waiver wire. You got to do it. Yeah.
I just need you to give me a couple points. Just get out there and catch a couple passes. Give me like 40, 50 points. Yeah, because
get you 40 or 50 points.
Yeah, let me tell you something, America. So we have a draft today. Shout out to the Bulls personnel out there, the guys behind the scenes that we do a draft, right? So last year they say, hey, Stacey, you want to be in the league? I said, yeah. So they gave me a team that somebody quit. Okay, and whoever drafted that team, I might have been Stevie Wonder because they didn't know nothing about football. I had a terrible team, so I was last the whole year. I couldn't even go on the waiver wire and pick up anything. Yeah. Everything was gone. So I said, okay, this year I want to be in the draft. So they have the draft today. Okay, so it's like 12:30. You know, I'm over at Cooper's Hawk. I'm over having lunch, and I'm drafting at the table. The internet sucked over here, so I'm just going to throw that out there. So
another sponsor down the drain.
So I struggled a little bit, but I got the people. I picked up Brittle Kittle. I can't believe I just said that. Brittle Kittle.
He's on your team.
I'm a believer you're going to be back. And then I picked up Lazard. And I'm like, and I got Patrick Mahomes as my quarterback.
There you go.
Yeah. So I got a pretty decent team, but the point was somebody picked my name of my team today, okay? And whoever did it, I know you're watching this right now. That was a lousy name you gave me. It was terrible. It was like
what is it?
It was like CCC
Sabathia?
No, it was first of all, America. I pick cool nicknames, okay? Yeah. In my fantasy, where I won the championship 10 years in a row, I'm a 10-time champion in my Yahoo Sports.
We've seen the trophies.
Yeah, okay. See, Mark, you recognize greatness. Yeah. You recognize greatness. I've won 10 in a row, so I retired as a champion. So I jumped over to this ESPN fantasy with these people. They're going to give me some ratchet name. I'll say, listen, when you won 10 championships, you let the guy pick his name. Okay, my fantasy name is Crenshaw Mafia. Okay, if you're out there listening out there, Bulls Nation, and whoever's in charge of the Bulls fantasy team, please change my name from J. Cole something to Crenshaw Mafia.
J. Crew.
Yeah, it's J. Cole the rapper something. I'm like, no. But I got a good team. I should finish pretty high. I'm waiting for the playoffs to make my move. Yeah. And make it rain, baby. Because I'm getting
What's
ready
your
to get
name,
paid.
Mark?
For a fantasy football team? I don't have a fantasy football team, so.
Oh.
Boring. What's yours?
Tim's Tebow's.
Oh, what? Oh, my God. Just like whispers. Tim Tebow's.
I used to use Timmy the Wad, but then someone told me.
Oh, come on now.
Come on. Oh. All right, we get this back on the track.
Hey, speaking of Tim Tebow, his Florida Gators, his alma mater pulled off a nice upset. They beat the Utah Utes last week. They were unranked. Now they're 12th. Kind of a shakeup in the top 5 with Ohio State beating Notre Dame. Georgia moves up to number 2 after they destroyed Oregon. So, a little bit of movement.
Mark, I'm stopping
Sooners.
you right there.
Yeah,
okay, you don't start this college football ranking unless you're talking about the Sooners first. Okay, we're not talking about Florida.
Who'd they beat last week? Little Sisters of the Poor?
Wow, that hurt, Mark. Mark, where's Wisconsin? Is Wisconsin on there?
Yeah,
I don't see them.
I think
Mark.
they're 17.
Maybe I need to take my
18th.
contacts out. Oh, there they are. They're 18th. The Sooners are 7th, baby. America, let me tell you something. We don't rebuild. We reload. Okay? So we're reloaded right now.
They wish they had Caleb Williams, I'll tell you that.
Well, Mark, we don't want guys who quit on us, okay? We
USC
want guys,
looking good.
Man,
number 10.
Man, Mark, stop this, okay? This is the Oklahoma Hour, okay? We talk about
the Oklahoma Hour.
Listen,
That's a catchy name for the show.
Listen, the only time I'm gonna turn on my Sooners is when they lose.
And then he's an Alabama fan.
If they lose a game,
Yeah.
I'm going to go, hey, roll Tide. That's me.
That's right.
And if they lose, if they get beat by Georgia, I'm a Georgia fan. Okay, I'm just going to throw that out there. All my Sooner fans out there, I know you call me a turncoat right now. I'm with you as long as we win.
You'll see my team in there in the next few weeks.
Who's that?
Northwestern. Go Cats!
Oh, man, please.
Yeah, they play Duke in the Academic Bowl this weekend.
Do they even have any good, hard games?
They got a couple.
Big Ten schedule, yeah. All
They got
kinds of tough
Wisconsin,
games.
Ohio State.
Iowa.
Yeah.
Losers.
Wow.
Hey, we need a quick getaway here, Stacey. Tell the folks how they can get a ride to the best games, the best concerts.
Can you help me out
Best
Saturday?
comedy shows.
They get that discount.
Because you don't want to drive yourself. You want to have a good time. You want to make sure
Listen.
you arrive safely.
Because then Maddie can go.
First of all, shout out to my driver, Mike Amaroth, who's out there listening to the show as we speak,
Yeah.
waiting for me to get in there. He's a three degree black belt in Taekwondo. He is a bodyguard for me, so he protects me when I'm in the car, and then when I go out of the car, he stiff arms people to get them off me. Okay, and he drives for Windy City. Okay, so Windy City is my personal service that I use, America. It provides championship service. Making a reservation is so easy, it's a slam dunk. Let Windy City break the full court pressure of traffic and get you to your destination in style and on time. Contact us at 847-916-9300 or go to WindyCityLimos.com.
Nicely done. Always providing you first-class service, so make sure you reach out to them for all your transportation needs.
Oh,
Yeah,
a
go ahead.
special shout out. Special shout out. I meant to do this. Oh, I forgot this. I went to a birthday party last week.
I saw that, yeah.
To Miss Vivian Smith, who turned 100 years old. It was awesome.
Yeah.
She had an all-white party, and she is celebrating her 100th birthday. It was awesome. I met her, I think, when she turned 98. She was at a Bulls game. And so they reached out to me and wanted me to come out to, see her. And I wasn't going to miss that in the world, because I tell people all the time, and I told the young kids at the party, Mrs. Smith at 100 years old has so much knowledge of things. She's seen so much. And anybody that age, in their 90s to 100, young kids need to sit down and listen to them. Ask them questions. Ask them questions about their life. Ask them, things they've experienced in their life. I think that there's so much history because, as you know, they're erasing history as we speak. Every day there's pages of history disappearing.
Yeah.
But when someone reaches 100 years old, that is an amazing feat. And I urge any grandchildren, nieces, nephews, if you have a relative that reaches 100, sit down, talk to them, ask them questions. It also makes them feel younger too, that you really want to know something about them. So, yeah, that's my feel-good story. Happy birthday, Miss Vivian Smith, 100 years old. She's going to be at the Bulls game, I think against the Bucks on October 11th or 12th. She's going to be at the game, so hopefully we'll do something nice for her. The Bulls will do something nice for her, put her on the scoreboard, and But I wanted to give her a shout out on Gimme the Hot Sauce because she's a loyal listener, and I even brought her some hot sauce. I told her don't take. I said
Take it easy.
I said whatever you do, don't eat the hot one, okay? Because I don't want to get a phone call. I don't want to get a phone call talking about Miss Smith is in the hospital for eating the Chicago Fire 1871, and I pointed at the Whispers where I said Whispers is the one who did it.
Yeah,
He packed it, yeah.
of course. Changed bottles. That's the kind of guy I am.
Oh, and I forgot. I got a message for some people, okay? For you, Whispers, because you're the hot sauce packer. Okay, I'm throwing Whispers on the bus. So I run into a few people. The other day, I have Patrick Williams, Wendy, the Dr.
Still
Wendy.
waiting?
Yes. They said, hey, where's the hot sauce?
Yeah.
Because I was passing it out to
I
Javante.
just can't put the name on the box.
You know what? Today
I'm gonna need the address.
Today, I'm taking it. I'm just gonna get it today.
Personally delivered.
You're putting my rep on the line. They're like, oh yeah, we come on your show, we don't get a hot sauce. I'm like, wow.
Well, there's been a few that don't respond with the address, so too bad.
Well, that's when you reach out and say, can I get your
No
address?
sauce. No sauce for
That's where Maddie comes in.
It's him
Maddie
washing
is
his hands of any blame.
Maddie
Not
is,
my fault.
Maddie is the awesome
right.
at things. She runs people down. She tracks them down. I was supposed to do something one day, like a radio interview or something, and Maddie was all on top of it. Yeah. So the people tell me, be there. We'll be on at 9:45. Right? I'm over here waiting. I'm on there at 9:20. Then waiting in the little Zoom room. 10 o'clock rolls around, like, Maddie, like, what's going on? So Maddie's like, hey, they don't answer the phone, just leave. I'm like, oh, you got to tell me twice. But she was on top of it.
That's right.
She does a great job of running down the guests, making sure the guests have what they need on there. So we're gonna turn it over to Maddie to get everybody's address, because obviously Tim has fallen asleep at the wheel. So we're gonna
like Whispers.
Yeah, just like Whispers. We're gonna let Maddie handle that, because my reputation online, there were people mad at me the other day at the Advocate Center. I was like, and guess who else I ran into? My man Tim St. Clair.
Oh, that's right.
I ran into Tim St. Clair.
PA voice.
The PA voice, the voice of the Bulls. He does all the Bulls voice. I asked him, was he going to France? It's not a home game, but he's gonna. They're gonna. Hopefully, they ask him to go. And so he had a Bulls fan from England, Tom Perry Jones, came over from England.
Tom Jones.
Why,
love to be loved by anyone. You don't remember that, man? Remember the little tight pants? Tim wears those tight pants right now. He's got a pair of Tom Jones on right now, America.
Yeah, that's why they throw panties at me.
Oh my God. Come on, man. But yeah, so the guy,
Tom Jones.
So Tom Perry Jones came over from England, and he got a chance to go into take pictures outside the, outside the UC. Had a good time. Had some Chicago dish pizza. Now let me ask you a question. What's your favorite deep dish pizza in Chicago?
I like Lou Malnati's and Giordano's.
Okay, you?
Uno's.
Uno's. Okay, all right.
And Lou Malnati's is great too.
Yeah.
But
hey, you know what?
If I'm downtown, though, it's Uno's.
You know what? I mean, I can't pass on Lou's. Lou's the best.
Well, we get it here a lot.
But, we do get it here a lot. It'd be nice to get it free, Lou. But Moretti's.
Moretti's is great, too.
We're still waiting for a sponsor, Moretti. I'm giving you a plug, Moretti's. It's about time to come join the hot sauce team, baby.
Yeah, we have to talk to them.
We've been wanting to talk to them they're not answering calls.
I know.
Every time we try
to. Tim's on the pay no mind list.
Every time we go over there, we get a bill. We order up all this pizza, it's like $300. Like, okay, are you going to sponsor us? We don't turn nothing down but our collars.
Yeah, persistence. Yeah, it'll work one of these days.
One of these days. Got to keep begging.
If
you're
Sky. That's where I'm going. I said, if you're watching NFL tonight, make sure you also check in on what's going on with the Chicago Sky. Game 5 of WNBA semifinals. It's win or go home. Winner moves on to the finals. The loser is done for the season. The Sky had a tough game the other night in Connecticut. They got run out of the gym, and this is a tough matchup for them. Even though they went 4-0 during the regular season, all the games were close, and Connecticut has one of the tallest teams in the WNBA. It's a tough matchup, but the good thing is Sky is at home, and hopefully they can use that home court advantage and pull through.
They're the defending champions.
That's right.
They're on the ropes. They're going to find a way to win in Chicago. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a professional analyst.
Yes, he is.
Dangerous D with the right at the right. He always comes in at the right time. Good job,
That's timing.
I'm going to tell you right now, if they don't have an answer from stopping them in the points in the paint, that was pure domination. I'd never seen this guy dominated like that, like they were the last game. So they've got to find a way to keep them out of the paint and to limit their runouts. The guards are getting out on the break. Man, I tell you right now, that Aces team looks real too. So if
they had some great games against Seattle.
If this guy is able to get through this, they got it's the two top seeds will be playing against each other. But that's not going to be a good series. But you got to take care tonight. You got to come out, get off to a great start. Jump on the soul and get the crowd behind you and make them play from behind. But if they come out and they get the lead, they have the ability to slow the game down, pound you inside, and, just squeeze the life out of you like an anaconda.
Yeah, we wish all the best of the Sky. Of course, we've had James Wade and Allie Quigley on.
Friends of the program.
Yeah, so we wish them all the best in their deciding Game 5 against the Connecticut Sun. Tim, you want to tell the folks about our friends at Angel Water?
Yeah.
Heavy lifting as he has to pick up the ad read that was used as a coaster.
Cord was wrapped around my arm.
Yeah, all right.
Cutting my blood off here. Did you catch some of those names people suggested for my?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
No. Your fantasy football team is doomed.
Listen up, Bulls Nation. We want to make water healthier for you, your home, and your family. So look no further than our favorite new water. All right. You were just about to.
No, I wasn't.
Here in the Hot Sauce Studio. This company is on a mission to provide Water free of toxins and chemicals that can cause long-term damage to your health. We thank them for providing Gimme the Hot Sauce team with more than enough H2O to keep cool. Stay hydrated all year with water you can trust. Angel Water. Call 847-382-7800 to get your water tested for free today.
And tell him Randy Moczalla Savage sent you, Chief Little Legs. It's just a matter of time before I get your little legs.
Somebody kill the mic.
And Tim likes it too. Hey, before we get out of here, we want to salute one of the greatest athletes of all time, Serena Williams, who closed out her, and Stacey King. Serena Williams, her career came to an end with a third-round loss at the U.S. Open, but I thought it was great that she got her game to the point where she could be competitive and gave the fans, one last thrill to watch her play at center court.
I tell you what, it was awesome watching her play. Upsetting the number 2 seed early. You know what? And then she played the doubles with her sister, and I just felt like that took a lot out of her.
Yeah.
Like, I just wished her coach would have said, hey, look, I know you want to play with your sister. This is going to be the last go-around. You can play with your sisters in like circuits, but this is your last go-around, and you're playing so well right now. I just thought she looked tired. I thought she looked tired in that last game she had. But she had an amazing career. Going to go down as the greatest tennis player ever. I tell you, if you haven't seen that movie with Will Smith,
yeah, that's a good movie,
it's a great movie.
I tell you, man, like to watch that movie,
King Richard. It's on HBO.
Yes,
if you haven't.
yes, and he won an Academy Award for that. That was before the slap.
It was after the slap.
It was after the slap he won. And, I tell you what, sometimes I want to slap whispers like that, but I don't, okay? Because I just don't want to do it. We've been 30 years of abuse, and I love this guy.
One more slap.
Well, one more slap. But the movie was telling because you watched, it was very, like, telling of how their career went. Like, Venus was always looked at as the best.
Yeah, and she was in her shadow.
She was in her shadow the whole
turn.
time. And then she made that speech thinking her sister. And I thought that was just one of the most heartwarming things that you could actually, if your sister to see that, Venus was like, they're looking at it, and it was like, you could tell they're really super close. And it was awesome seeing that.
Hey, do you guys buy the Margaret Court thing that she's the better all-time winner?
No, it's just kind of bad that those comments came out. She's 80 years old and felt like she had been shortchanged, that her accomplishments rival what Serena did. Yes, in numbers, she's got one more major title than Serena does. But when you talk about the impact on the culture, for women's sports, for everything.
I missed that. Who's that?
Margaret Court from Australia holds the all-time record
and
for
how
major.
old is she now, like 80?
80.
Yeah,
and there were some quotes that came out that she felt that she was shortchanged, and she felt that her Christianity was one of the reasons why she wasn't
first of all, listen, it's a different time and a different era. Okay, the tennis players of today playing against Margaret Court, and I'm not taking anything away from Margaret Court because
she'd have to use a wood racket too.
Yeah, exactly. So
she had an ashtray on the court.
You can't sit here. You can't sit here if you're Margaret Court and compare your era to what we're seeing now.
Right.
Okay. You just can't. The athletes are bbigger, stronger, faster. You just can't. And that doesn't diminish what she did in her era. It's the same thing when, you hear these guys talk about JJ Redick talking about, these guys played against plumbers and all that. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that about Margaret Court because she had to play against the best in her era. Right. Okay, but for what Serena has done as far as
there were 6 players then.
It's just taking the game to another level, making it accessible to African Americans, changing the culture. It's just not a white sport. Just like Tiger changed the complexion of golf, being an African American, going out there playing golf, and now you got everybody's gravitated to them. It's the same thing with Serena. She, think about all the pressure Serena has to have when she goes out on that court. She's had to hear racial slurs in certain places. There's a lot of stuff that an average person doesn't know that she has to deal with, like the death threats and the racial catcalls. I mean, for her to be able to hold her head up high and people saying she's on steroids, she's built like a man. I mean, all the negative energy that she had to endure her whole career, other female people don't want to be in the same locker with her. I mean, there's a whole backstory to all that.
There is one problem, though, in our modern Twitter-generated world. Every station, every network has that crawl on the bottom of the screen where they give you the little footnotes. So you see these quotes from Margaret Court we don't know the context of the interview. They didn't play the interview. It just makes it look bad. It makes it look like she's being petty and trying to downplay what Serena did. We don't know the context of the interview. I would love to see some of that interview, see exactly how it was.
Well, you know who's controlling that is her husband, who's the founder of Reddit.
See some more knowledge that we didn't know that Tim possessed.
No.
Yeah, he's the founder of Reddit.
Well, then the hell with them all.
Controlling it all.
Hey, what's his name? What's your name?
Not offhand.
Joe Court.
Joe Highcourt. Hey, ready? Hey, we better watch what we say. He might try to cancel our culture. Cancel. Give me the hot sauce. They start putting all kind of negative stuff out there. Nah, man.
No.
Mr. Court was sorry
The
about
folks
that.
in Reddit love us.
Margaret was a great tennis player. I'm supporting her 100%.
And her name was Court.
She was the queen of the court.
They named the court after her.
Queen of the court. Well, hey, Miss Court, I don't care what Mark Shanowski said about you.
Oh, here we go again.
I don't care what Tim said about you. I love your game. You just keep playing and you're 80 years old. You probably can beat Mark right now.
You keep smoking those Virginia Slims.
Wow. They don't even make Virginia Slims anymore.
But you remember they used to be the primary sponsor.
All right, it's time to get out of here. We've officially entered the point of no return.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
D, you got that queued up for us. It's time to get out of here before Stacey something that really gets us in trouble.
Or he has a stroke.
We want to thank Antoine Walker. It was a terrific interview. Love talking to Twan. Wish him all the best with his media career. Stacey, got anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
Drive home safely. Go.
You're scaring me.
Can't go upstairs.